What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Colum Tyrrell Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about something that no one else seems to be talking about right now. I've just come across this new thing. I don't know if it's a movement. I don't know if it's like a philosophy, but it's certainly online. It's very popular these last few days. No one else that I know, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and no one has ever seemed to have talked about this. It's a thing called cancel culture. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I've never actually heard anyone. Cancel. Have you heard about this, Johnny Glover? Cancel culture. It's all over Twitter. It seems to be a latest movement, especially coming because of Louis C.K. and his Grammy award-winning album this last week. I believe it's actually slang, culture culture. I believe it started in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, with some rich frat bros, or some business finance guys. As you know, the way slang always does, it starts with these rich white men and then slowly dilutes itself down to like the urban folk like ourselves. Right. So this, I don't really know what it is. It's new. I'm scared of it. I'll let you know. This thing called cancel culture. Pretty much what happens is celebrities or just regular folk will get cancelled. And there seems to be a culture around the cancelling of this person. So it's rampant, and it is to be discussed. And I don't know why. First of all, the media is silent on this. Every other podcast is silent. Comedians are chicken to come out and talk about the cancelling of the culture. It's a real. I don't know why you're laughing, Johnny, but it is a real issue from where I follow a lot of people on Twitter, and they're bringing it up. So I want to talk about it too, you know. So it's my understanding is what is. It's pretty much. Some sides thinks it's a good thing. So let's say a celebrity or just pretty. It tends to only be white men that are
getting cancelled.
They're either getting cancelled or the opposite. And this is the thing: is some people believe that there's no such thing as cancel culture. Huh. It's like Jesus, or it's like God, you know. There's like a very much, is this real, is it not real thing. I personally am on the belief that it does exist, because a lot of men are doing things like, say, Harvey Weinstein or whatever. He's forcing these immigrant ladies, I don't know the name of the actresses, to suck them off in the shower one time, and then he turns them into millionaires, and now he's in prison, and so pretty much that would be called cancel culture. That's my understanding of it. And now a lot of people think that's fine. And I was like, kids, I said cancel culture. In my day, we called that consequences. In my day, we said that consequences for your actions. We didn't need this fucking street slang for us to have people face their comeuppance for what they did. So I'm just glad that we'll be the first people. This is like breaking news. We'll be the first person to actually talk about this. And of course, folks, I'm joking around. I'm talking, of course, about cancel culture that seems to be in the news again for the 12th consecutive year, maybe. I don't know how long this shit is going on, but are we done? We've reached our thing with it. It's just constantly. It's like people are like, no one keeps bringing up Game of Thrones and the ending and how it was the worst season of all time. But for some reason, there seems to be a very divide amongst grown-ups and children about whether or not cancel culture is correct. And it seems to have come up because of Louis C.K. Louis C.K. won a Grammy for the best album of the year. And a lot of people are outraged over this. It seems to also be, because this is comedy, I'm allowed to talk about this, because I am, believe it or not, a semi-professional comedian. If you want me to be a full-time professional comedian, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/Colum Tyrrell. You'll be able to help me achieve my dreams of not having a real job. But Louis won the Grammy of the Year. By the way, deserved it. Regardless of what you think about him and his past and his sticky fingers, he, as comics go, there's no way there was a obviously I didn't listen to all the albums, right? I listened to like the first 10 minutes of a few of them. But I'll tell you this, that was one of the best albums or specials of all time. There's no way anything even came close to that. I watched some of the other stuff. People were like, oh no, this was just as good. I was like, no. Louis C.K.'s Sorry was without a doubt 10 times better than anything else that was released by anyone that year. So, you know, he deserved to win it. Now, also, the Grammys, fuck off. No one gives a fuck about comedy and the Grammys and even the people that are nominated. Who's that girl who cut off Donald Trump's head? She's like that old Jewish girl. Griffith. Kathy Griffith, yeah. That's the type of people that get nominated for Grammys. Yeah. It's like, does she? How would you even buy tickets? It's like, you can't even buy them online. You got to go to Ticketmaster yourself and hand cash. It's like, how you got to be. She has a Vegas residency, and it's called something stupid like fucking cis white whale. You're like, fuck you, Kathy Griffith. That's the type of people that get nominated. It's kind of sad because I saw Nate Bargatze got nominated for the Grammy this year. I believe he got nominated. And it was tough because it was like, oh, it's sad when you get nominated for the Grammys. Fucking Chappelle won it last year, whatever, for his anti-trans rant. Or was that the year before? I don't know. It was every year. So, but the Grammys are irrelevant. Real comedy, no one gives a fuck. All it is if you're signed for these major networks. So realistically, the idea that Louis won a Grammy, it's like, I wonder if he even knows. He wasn't there. Did you see if he was there?
No.
He didn't do a speech, right? Because it would have been the greatest acceptance speech of all time. Yeah. I wish he just posted like a photo of his legs at the beach in Cabo or wherever, and it just like living my best life.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Thanks for the cheddar, bitches. He posts us his horrible, pasty ginger legs and says, yeah, legs are hot dogs. And you're like, oh, who the fuck would, that's not, I'm never eating a hot dog again. Is that what you think hot dogs look like? Louis C.K. But look, does cancel culture exist? I don't fucking know. It's been going on for 5 years now. Did Louis lose millions and millions of dollars? Yes. Did he jerk off in front of women? Yes. Were they given consent? Was he given consent by these women? Yes. Is a woman able to decide for herself what she does? And the answer is no. Unfortunately, a woman's brain never develops, ever. Okay? You know, there's like this theory that with humans, when you're under the age of 24, your brain hasn't stopped developing or something like that.
Plastic.
It's still getting shaped. Mm-hmm. And now the female brain is actually, that's until 82, sadly. So they can't actually consent without written permission from their parents. That's how you have to do it, unfortunately. There was it too. I remember Nick DiPaolo came out and he made a good point about one of the girls. She was complaining that she rang him to be like, hey, do you want to send you a wedding invite or something? Do you want a +1? And he was like, hold on, let me just close the blinds. You know? And then he just started ripping one out, just Louis C.K. fucking wanking off at the end. She was like, are you wanking? He's like, no. And she's like, you're wanking, aren't you? And he's like, no, I'm not. She's like, how dare you wank? He's like, oh my God, yeah. He busted his nut on the phone, which is, sure, it's creepy, but like, never win a Grammy again? It comes down to this. Louis talented enough to win the Grammy. Let him win the Grammy. Right? That's kind of just, we said this about Michael Jackson last week. We said this about a lot of people over the years. Tarantino, he might suck feet and say the N-word a lot, but you know, he's making great stuff. You kind of, the only people that can talk about Louis should be the actual peers. It's very easy for everyone to be like, oh no, fuck that guy up there. He doesn't deserve anything up there. I want to hear the female equivalent of Louis, which is who? Maria Bamford, 10 years ago. Maybe. On our best day. It's not even his worst album. Not even his worst album. I'm sorry. And that's not even like, he's a talented guy. Women would love to jerk off in front of him. I guess the thing is, was it assault? Did they lie? A lot of these women lied, by the way. They are liars. That does happen. It does happen that women lie. And I know the agency or their managers might have just said, hey, just so you know, when he jerked off in front of you consensually in the hotel room, you might want to just not talk about that. It might be better for you to not do that. So then they're like, I never made it in Hollywood because of the moment that Louis is like, actually, it should have benefited you, right? Imagine being that girl. Imagine being sexually assaulted and not having it benefit you. How did you play your cards? That's like the best part. What's the fuck? All the Weinstein stuff, they were in fucking Pulp Fiction. They were winning fucking Oscars. It was like the roaring 20s back then. There was a plant with some cum on his head. Fucking, he was in the background of fucking Pulp Fiction. It was a fucking whole thing going on. Yeah. Meanwhile, Louis jerked off in front of some people on SNL or something, and they could never, ever get on stage again. I don't know. Listen, I know he raped a few women too, whatever, and we don't need to bring that up. But like, whatever. The vast majority of his stuff that he did was pretty harmless. I don't think that the Grammys really matters to anyone anymore. And you know, is he the best? He's the best. You know, I do think if you're a cancel culture person and you don't think he should have won, I would argue, you know what you got to do is like you got to make someone better than him beat him. And also, who gives a fuck? I also probably think he probably shouldn't have been nominated, to be honest. He's lost a lot, but we can't really. Who gives a fuck? He's better now as a little edgy indie guy. Louis is like a little indie guy. He's like me. Louis he's an edgelord. He's playing Madison Square Garden. He's like, he has nothing going on. Now you're here to take his Grammy? Get over it, ladies. Move on. Right? You've got comedians such as Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer hosted the Oscars. And we have an article right here, actually. And this is one of the funniest. Amy Schumer hosted the Oscars. And by all accounts, I only saw a little bit of it. I didn't watch much. Majority of it was slapgate. And when they finally went back to running the show, Schumer did have a funny enough joke where she's a very talented person, Amy Schumer. People don't genuinely, you got to see her live. I saw her produce Sam Morril's special years ago. And when she does come on stage, she does have that natural aura. Were you about to say gravity or something?
Yeah. Gravitational pull.
she has a very you are pulled towards her somehow. No, she does have that star quality. As soon as she walks on stage, you do kind of get a fucking oof. Oof, those stilettos won't be fucking. Those stilettos better be fucking load bearing stilettos. You better have, yeah. She has cankel culture.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A couple of cankel culture. Yeah. She used to be a great comic. Anyway, they're at the Oscars and the slap happened, and then she came out and was like, hey, how is everybody? She goes, I was in the back getting changed for a few minutes. Did anything happen? It feels weird in here or something. And it was like a very good kind of way to break the ice. And then she did some crazy sketch, a little skit. One of those classic skits your grandmother tells you all about. Oh, you better not put this in one of your skits. That's a thing comedians deal with all the time. When people turn around to you and go, Oh, you'd be at dinner with your aunt and uncle, and then next thing you know, like, something will happen where she'd be like, Tommy, where's... They'll be like... Tommy will turn around to, like, fucking Mary and be like, Mary, where's my fucking favourite shoe? She's like, it's in the wardrobe. It's not. I bet you it is. And then And then she goes, I told you, I found it. And he goes, oh. And then they look at you and go, better not put that in any of your skits now. I don't want to end up in one of your fucking skits. Fucking Mary and the missing shoe. It's my closer.
Yeah.
Schumer takes them. That's the funny thing. Everyone else goes, why would I ever put that in my skits? Schumer's all skits. She had Kirsten Dunst, right? I believe was her name. And she's married to the guy who looks like her brother. The guy, he was in Fargo. He was in Breaking Bad. He was in Friday Night Lights. He was in loads of shit over the years.
Jesse Plemons.
Plemons?
Yeah.
Plinkett.
Plemons.
Whatever. Jesse, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of albino, kind of ginger, whatever.
Looks
Him
kind of like Matt Damon.
He looks like if Matt Damon drowned in a river, and they pulled him out a couple of days, and had some sort of a pigment issue, If Vampire Damon died in a river, that's what he looks like exactly. So she did some shit with Kirsten Dunst and was like, oh, you're just an extra or whatever, and it didn't make much sense because I'd imagine more people know who Kirsten Dunst is than Amy Schumer. I would imagine. Maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. She came out and was talking about the issue with the Oscars and how she was upset with the Oscars for allowing Will Smith to smack Chris Rock. She didn't do anything. She was there. Mm-hmm. She made jokes about it. She didn't say anything. She had an opportunity to I guess she was being a pro, but don't come out afterwards and was like, hey, how dare they do that? She said, I was kind of feeling myself, and then all of a sudden Ali was making his way up, Schumer said. Ali? So as in does that mean Will Smith is referring to him as Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, maybe.
Doesn't even make sense, his least famous role.
Yeah.
And it was just a fucking bummer. All I can say is I was really sad, and I think it says so much about toxic masculinity. It was really upsetting, but I think that the best way to comfort ourselves would be for me to say the Oscar jokes that I wasn't allowed to say on TV. Mm-hmm. So here's what happens usually. You watch the Oscars, and this is my theory as to why Will Smith was laughing originally. When he heard the Chris Rock joke was because all the jokes are bad. They're not funny. It's not a funny environment. It stinks. And they're trained to just be like, they don't even understand what they're saying. They're just nodding and laughing and going, wow. And they go, oh, Ricky Gervais called me a pedophile. Whoa. Ricky Gervais roasted me. He said I'm wearing a wig. Whoa, whoa. But all the jokes are always bad. It's awful. Wanda Sykes comes out, wabba dabba yabba dabba, fucking shut the fuck up. Wanda, what was the last time she did anything fucking decent? Go get that money, girl. But fuck me, the other girl, the other host, and then she did that molestation bit where she's like, hey, come back, and I'm gonna rape all these boys in the back. That was beyond weird. I wouldn't love it if she's like, I'm gonna suck these guys' dicks. But you're not allowed to do those jokes because the Oscars are full of people that are better than you, even though they're all just liars, professional liars. Anyway, Schumer ran down some of the jokes that proved too controversial for the Oscars telecast. All right. So look, I'll tell you this is the theory is this: you see these jokes, and they're not allowed to say anything on TV. So we look at them and go, ugh. You watch these jokes and you go, ugh, and I've had to learn that in later years too, because I've seen a lot of people do late night TV sets, and I just go, ugh. But, you're not allowed to say most of the stuff that you want to say, and you got to deliver those stuff at a certain tempo. So the Oscars is like that. So you always go, oh, they had a lot of good jokes they couldn't get in. They got a lot of good jokes that they couldn't get in. And one of the jokes that Schumer had, and the reason she brought up these points is that she said, she goes, I wasn't allowed to say this joke, but you can just come up here and slap someone. Isn't the oxymoron here? And then this is the joke that she said. This is the joke that didn't make it, and I'll deliver it in my best way possible. She says, Don't Look Up is the name of a movie. More like don't look down the barrel of Alec Baldwin's shotgun. Or should I have went?
Yeah.
Damn it. Turn that one off. That's crazy. That for a professional comedian like that. And it's sad to see Schumer, because I used to be a big fan of this woman too. And I'm sure she's funny somehow, and she probably just decided to make more money than do anything else. But the idea that this is even a setup, this doesn't even make sense. To just be like, hey, yo, fuck it. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio is here, everyone. Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio is here. He's done a lot for his, he's helping the environment. He wants to leave the world a better place for his ex-girlfriends. And apparently there's like 25 people on Twitter like, she stole my joke. And you go, well, it's the people's joke now, Twitter. Your shit joke has been said before. Congratulations. I'd be upset. I'd delete it. I'd do the opposite. If Amy Schumer ever told one of my jokes, I'd delete it and be like, I never said that. What are you talking about? That's rough. But I'll let you know as a comedian. This is how bad this is. It says, Don't Look Up is the name of a movie. Wait, why are you telling us that? What's that? That has nothing to do with anything. You could use that setup for anything. Every movie's been named. Like, there could be just any, like, she might as well just, Avatar is the name of a movie. Jaws is the name of a movie. Like, how many of these are just on a mention? Don't Look Up is the name of a movie. Like, Down the Barrel is probably the name of a movie. Down the Barrel is the name of a movie. Hopefully it's not Alec Baldwin's. Don't Look Up is the name of a movie. More like Don't Look Down the barrel of Alec Baldwin's shotgun. And then we all go, woo! Amy Schumes! Edgy Schumes! And then she turns around and goes, there's a genocide. And then she follows that and goes, there's a genocide going on in wherever the fuck the genocide is going on. What's the name of that country that used to exist? The Ukraine? It's gone. Forget about it. Yeah. It's sad. That's funny. That must be embarrassing to have. At one point, she was really considered like a top-notch comic. And then she just got so famous so fast. And those early years, like her first album, Cutting Yourself, it was a great album. If you remember, she was very dry. Sure, there was a lot of misdirection, but it was like a solid enough album. And then recently she came out and she's like, I don't stand by any of those jokes. They were offensive and it was mean and I was young. And it was like, first of all, it was fucking Anthony Jeselnik who wrote all those fucking jokes for you. You would imagine. They used to date at the time.
Right.
And then as soon as they stopped dating, her stand-up fucking crashed like Bitcoin, dude. It went fucking down. It went down tough. And then the show she had, Inside Amy Schumer, that was a good show too. Yeah. And then you kind of go, oh, after the show, Kurt Metzger and Kyle Dunnigan have created some of the funniest stuff on the internet. The two head writers of the show. And she's gone on to be pregnant. They've done some of the silliest, most innovating, finger on the pulse, cultural analysis, incredible self-produced comedy of all time. And she married a guy with Asperger's. So they, who was the genius? I don't know. It's not easy to know. But she has, in fairness to her, she has constantly been very good at keeping her fucking swollen face in the news. She's letting everybody know she's better than them. She doesn't agree with rape jokes. She hates cis males. She hates white males. She hates everyone. Racism is bad. Schumer will tell you that. Racism is bad. Can we all please support the fucking... She's just scrambling. I think she's just scrambling to stay relevant. I don't know if that new show of hers is good. I'm glad she hired a bunch of comics, younger comics. Rosebud is in it and things like that. But you would have to imagine. Everyone's just kind of watching her now. It's just tough. It's kind of just drift off. There's your time, babe. This is it. You're not young and vibrant, and you're not even that ugly. Like, she's barely, like, even her whole thing is, I'm an ugly bitch. It's like, not enough. Not enough to be interesting. Fuck, she wouldn't be in the bottom 25 women I've slept with. I don't think so. She wouldn't be like, she's not like puke. Her attitude maybe, if I, like, oh, why did I finger that girl? I've seen some of the tweets she has about her take on Putin. Yeah. But it is tough. It's tough because like that's just what happens in the industry, man. You just you things grow up, things blow up for you, and then next thing you know, it happened very fast for her. She was only doing comedy for 4 weeks or something. She was famous, and she was selling out arenas all over the place, huge numbers. She was like the most popular woman. Then she had that car crash of a movie. I believe it was actually was it called Car Crash? It's called Train Wreck, was it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Fuck.
Train Wreck, right?
Damn, that would have been a great little thing. I know what they called it, Train Wreck. But then again, Dan Soder was in that, so now I feel bad because Soder's my friend. But that movie sucked. And then all those specials that she did. It's tough. It's just a tough world. You sleep with dogs, you get flies. And that's kind of what happened when she was out trying to break down the patriarchy. And then what happened is everyone was like, that's kind of racist. I don't know how it works, but she was like on the good side. She was like, yeah, fuck the patriarchy. I deserve as much as Dave Chappelle earns. And then everyone was like, well, the problem with the feminist movement is it excludes black women a lot of the time. And then she's like, well, I'm not going to try be the face of the movement. So then suddenly every time she speaks, she is like second guessing because she's like, oh no, I hate the patriarchy, but I don't hate black successful people, and I don't do this. And it's like she's just freaking out. Just be a cunt. Just be the cunt that you are. She's a rich kid. She steals. She's a megalomaniac. She steals all the time. She's always getting arrested for just robbing stuff. She's still, as far as I know. Someone told me that not too long ago, and I don't know if it's true, so don't sue me. But she was like at the Gap or something just like a year ago, caught with like fucking, I don't know. It's not, you won't catch that there. So don't be Googling that. Okay. Especially because all the information I gave you was like, could be anything. Yeah. Anyway, Amy, come back to us. Be a real one. Be an edgelord. Just don't be doing your horseshit jokes. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a break from the podcast for one quick second to let you know I'm on tour for the rest of the year. Obviously, I do stand-up comedy. You should know that by now, but please come out and check me out. I promise you, these are great shows. At the moment, I'm on tour with Mike Rainey and Tim Budley of Dad Meat Podcast. You must know them. They've been a regular on this podcast over the years. I've been a regular on their podcast, and our live tour has been crushing it. We sold out in New York. We sold out in Boston. We sold out in Chicago. We sold out somewhere else. I can't even remember where that was. Maybe was it Baltimore? Because I'm never going back. But we've got dates coming up, and if you live in any of these cities, please consider buying some tickets. The tickets links will be in the description below. We've got coming up this April 12th in Philadelphia, Helium Comedy Club. There's not many tickets left, and I don't say that as a, thing. Sometimes people say that. This is really, it's this day next week, so by the time this comes out, hopefully, we'll be sold out by now. But if you're in Philadelphia, this is my first time performing there in a long, long time. First time doing a long set down there ever. So please consider buying tickets for that. Then coming up, we also have Detroit coming up, Cleveland coming up. We're going to be down in Texas. We've got Houston, Austin, San Antonio. So that'll be a great little run over there. We also got Indianapolis coming up and Raleigh in North Carolina. We will also be adding dates to Nashville and hopefully Atlanta, Georgia on that run too. So keep an eye out if you're in those cities. And if you're in a city that you'd like us to come, leave a comment below and we'll try to figure out a way to make it work. All we need is about 15 to 20 people and we'll be willing to do it. It doesn't matter where you live, even if it's the most irrelevant place in the world, like fucking, I don't know, LA or whatever. We will go to these little shitty places to see you. So please consider buying tickets. It'd be great for help us grow everything that we're doing, and it's also a great opportunity for us to meet you because we do genuinely appreciate each and every one of you for helping us do our thing. Thank you. Now back to the show. What the fuck is going on with Madonna? Do you see this stuff too? There's another one of just of where you can end up with fame and how it bangs you up. Madonna's always been a crazy bat to me. I don't know about you, Johnny. You're about 15 to 25 years older than me. I'm not really quite sure. And we'll never find out your real age either, Johnny. One of these days, I'm going to just cut your leg open and count the rings and figure out what's going on. Because every now and again, you'll drop an little quote of like, oh, my favorite song. And like, diddly-doop-bop-bop-bop-doobie-dabbie-diddly-boop. And I'm like, what the hell? You know that song from your childhood? Oh, it's from the Netherlands. And when I lived in the Netherlands, you've probably never even been there. That's how much I know about Johnny. Johnny keeps talking about all those years he lived in the Netherlands, and he shows up just one day with some wooden shoes. Oh yes, I spent so much time in the Netherlands, and meanwhile you're just wanted for some horrible crimes in Montana. My name is Jonathan. The first name. It would be even funnier as if your name was like Jonathan, and then you showed up and they're like, "What's your name?" And you're like, "Think of something different. Johnny." Fuck. Anyway, Madonna's in the news now too. Again, she's always been crazy as far as I know. I know when the only song I've ever heard her sing during my lifetime that I can think of off the top of my head was American Pie. She sang fucking Bye Bye Miss American Pie, I'm sure. I think she sang it. She sang some sort of a version of it, and it's very potentially it was for that. It was for the movie with Austin Powers, right? Didn't she sing that for Austin Powers?
It could have been. Yeah, it was 2000. So.
Madonna, Austin Powers song. That's the only time I think she's ever sang a song. Oh no, I fell in love with a beautiful stranger. Yeah. Maybe that's the song. I think she also sang American Pie. So I'm a liar. She sang 2 songs in my lifetime, but she was always like an old crazy lunatic. She had an English accent for a long time. She claimed to kind of be English. She was just doing that thing. Like Alec Baldwin's wife. She's just like, what is the word for, how you say, la cucumber, what? Oh, cucumber? Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's what she was. She was like, hello, Madonna, I am. And Jiminy Crickets. I'm going to eat some biscuits with some tea, I am. So she looks like she got smacked with a shovel. But she's been nuts forever. And it's tough when you're that famous, because when you hear older guys that are in their 50s, they talk about Madonna like she's like was the hottest thing. When she was like a virgin, when she was liking like a virgin, 12 years old. All the guys like, yeah. Like Puerto Rican virgin, 9 years old. She was like a virgin forever. I don't know if there's any other songs. What other songs do you know that she has?
Whatever that Life is a Mystery song, Material Girl.
What's Material Girl go like? Oh yeah, Material Girl.
Yeah.
Material. Shut. That 80s is real bad. That was a bad time for fucking music. Yeah, so she's kind of always sucked, but people talk about it and they're like, oh, Madonna was there was endless amounts of jizz emptied over Madonna.
With like the cone bra or whatever.
She had the cone bra back in the day. The idea of big pointy alien tits. Now her face looks like that cone bra, dude. She's fucking damaged looking now, but she's been away with the fairies for a long time. She even most recently, wasn't there a video of her and Kanye West and that girl that Kanye West was dating for a little bit, Uncut Gems, and then Antonio Brown from the NFL footballer, just hanging out listening. I don't know what they were listening to. They were listening to some like old timey fucking music, and it was a psycho event. She also had she was married to Dennis Rodman, I believe, for a while. I don't know if they were married, but
for a while, yeah.
They just dated. There you go. Once you're with him, there's something not right. And I don't blame him. What happens is you get so famous. These people just get so famous that they start living in a chaotic bubble. They start living where they don't even know what's right anymore. And there's also they get called. It must hurt. It must hurt to be beautiful and then lose that. Like, that must be a painful thing to go through. Thank God, Johnny. And I'll tell you this, Johnny. Yourself and I, we're safe.
Yep.
We'll never have to go through that. People are like, would you like some work done? Why bother? Do you know how much we have to go through to do that?
Yeah.
Nose and teeth and Botox and
bone saws.
Yeah, and ass implants, big Brazilian butt lift. Yep. That's what I'm gonna get done. I'm gonna go to Mexico and get a Brazilian butt lift and just come back with a fucking wobble goblin going. I'm a wobbly boy. That'd be so funny if I just had a fucking trunk on me. Yo, all the boys wanting to crack my arse open. Again, but this is, I don't know what happened to this poor girl, but that's crazy. That's like something out of a fucking horror movie right there. That's an alien that came down and went blah, 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 blah. And like it's almost supposed to be like a beautiful girl, and then a guy picks her up at the bar, and then they go outside, and her scorpion tail comes flying out of her fucking back. Yeah. Listen, if that was an alien, how old is she? Do you know?
I think around like 62, 63.
You shouldn't look like a beetle at 62. It's just, that's not the look. Can you not age? Is it possible to age gracefully? Her lips are fucking burst out of her face like she has a bee allergy and just got stung. She shoved her hand in the honey pot and got stung like a motherfucker. But and her eyes are also not a color of a human. So, you know, we wish her well. All her fans have said she's very weird. She's posting this video where she just rocks back and forth. And I would definitely love to bang her. It'd be fun. It'd be funny. Like, that'd be like a funny thing to do. You know, like if I didn't know that girl, I'd probably still bang her, even if I didn't know her. If I was like on the road. If I was on the road in Pittsburgh and it was like an old woman smoking Menthols with like a horrible fucking diner waitress voice going, you know, I'd stick it in there for a goof. But especially because of Madonna, I'd be like, yeah, I fucked her. Yeah, of course I fucked Madonna. The good years? Nah. About 35 years after the good years, actually. About 35 years. But that is spooky. That's the type of thing that you ever hear of people and they have sleep paralysis and then they always see that thing at the end of the bed. Oh, yeah, that's what they see.
Oh, yeah.
Madonna's turned into that. Mm-hmm. She's like a cryptic human.
Yeah.
But you got to remember how much drugs you're fried from all the drugs you did, dude. Yeah. And you have no idea what type of fucking LSD she's been pouring on her tongue for years. But that's what happens. You just get famous. Everyone has the pursuit of fame. Mm-hmm. And then one day people stop calling you beautiful. So you're like, maybe if I just pull my head back a little bit. You know what she looks like? Do you ever be on the inside of your apartment or something and someone shows up at the door, so you look through the keyhole to kind of see their face? Mm-hmm. That's what her face looks like. Just without the fish lens.
Total fish eye.
Yeah, it looks like someone has a GoPro to her face, but that's just actually the shape she has decided to pay for. She hired someone and said, what if my head looks like a bicycle saddle? That's what imagine two gigantic lips on a bicycle saddle. And can you also remove the color from my eyes? I want to be very soulless.
Yeah, reptilian.
Reptilian, exactly the word. This is the type of stuff that when people say there's lizard people, and that's exactly what they're talking. She could be. Well, she probably died years ago, like a Men in Black style scenario. She died years ago, and some sort of parasite scribbled.
Just use her skin as a suit.
Yeah, and then she walks in. Remember that guy?
Sugar.
Yeah, in Men in Black. That's what she's looking at. She's like a virgin. Kanye, sing me a song, Kanye. Wow. It was like, Jesus, Madonna. It's like, what is that? That's just my tail. Hey, listen, good luck out there, baby. A lot of people might be following me on Instagram and Twitter at Colum Tyrrell. It's probably in the descriptions everywhere. You might have known today. We had a shit day today, and there was I showed up. I'll let you know what's going on. I came in super early, crack of dawn early, because I had 100,000 things to do. I'm heading off to LA tomorrow. I won't be back. I'm never coming back. So I had I'm faking my own death. I had to get my will in order. I had to do all sorts of things. I organized a bunch of dates with a lot of women so that I'll never show up to. That's what I'm gonna do before I kill myself. I'm gonna organize dates with as many women as I can, and kill myself, and then they'll always have some kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I'll have touched these women. That's kind of my legacy. They'll all be at the funeral going, "Oh my God, what could have been?" You know what I mean? I didn't know you're so troubled, and they'll be waiting at the restaurant. Although that doesn't happen anymore. Women don't do that. You can't really. I'll have automatic texts saying, "Hey, working very hard. I'll meet you at the restaurant at 8. Can't text right now. Working." You know, because women will be like, "Oh, they'll check in. They're like, hey, I'm on my way. Where are you? Are you in the Uber? Blah blah blah." You can't do this. So that's the way I would do it. That's like a fun thing.
Yeah.
I almost want to kill myself now just to do that. The funniest thing would be I'll turn around to you and be like, "I'm not gonna book these dates," and then I'll kill myself, and then you'll come in, "Okay, cool," and then I'll be like, "So I only got one date, and it's from my current girlfriend. So I'm not killing myself. This isn't funny anymore. I'm just sad. No, I'm not kill myself because I'm depressed. Not as a bit." So I came in this morning because we have the trip to LA. I come in, the fucking couch there is soaked with water. And as soon as I walk in, I go, "What the fuck is that?" And I look up, and the ceiling has just collapsed pretty much. Part of the ceiling here has just collapsed due to water damage right above my head right here. Also, another collapsing thing. There's a puddle. The whole place is like fucking a couple of inches of water. We're lucky enough that we had this giant rug down there that seemed to have taken in most of the damage. I walk down to the front door, and I go to the guy, "Oh, you got to come up." I go to the guy who works there. I go, "You got to come up. There's like a leak or something. The pipe burst or something." At first I walked in though, and immediately I looked at the fucking computers. I looked at the cameras. Everything was fine. And I went, "All right, thank God." Because had that stuff been deserted, you guys would never have this podcast again. Just so you know, I would have took a chance to bet on myself and God's way. That would have been God's way of saying, you shouldn't be doing this.
Time to do a suicide bit.
Absolutely, yeah, suicide bit, dude. God and Buddha and all the deities or whatever they call themselves up there. All the gods are sitting around going, "Suicide bit, suicide bit." What's the funniest suicide bit? So we come in, whatever. Thank God, everything's fine. I got into the guy. I think it's a burst pipe or something. Come on up. And he goes, "Okay, yeah." And he comes up. And then I was like, "Yo, look, I don't know what's going on." He's like, "Oh, yeah, there was a fire upstairs, so." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Right above me?" He's like, yeah, there was a fire. They had a fire last night. And their sprinklers went off and it came down through the ceiling. I was like, "Motherfucker." And it's funny because we always hear them up there. And they're like a bunch of black. I don't know what the political correct term is. It's a bunch. It's a bunch of blacks.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what the collective term is. Brothers. I don't know. Yeah. There was a bundle up there, and it was fun. And I was like, going, "Oh, really?" I was like, right above us, and they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I really just don't think." Honestly, I was like, I didn't think a black person would start a fire. That was kind of my automatic reaction. I swear, I don't know if that's like racist or reverse racist or whatever I thought. I went, fucking, I just don't think that they're not a fire starting people.
Yeah, not pyromaniac.
It's just not, no, I just don't think they.
Kind of a white thing, yeah. Seems like.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I was pretty shocked, actually. So the whole day, we're ringing the insurance company. I rang the insurance company, by the way, and they go, "Did you start the fire?" And I went, "No." And they went, "Well, there's nothing we can do." And I was like, "Well, what about the stuff that got damaged?" And they're like, "You don't pay for any of that." Apparently, I have like the lowest insurance possible because I was like, "I'm not paying for that shit." Also, then people are like, well, maybe you should level up now. And it's like, nah, you don't get struck twice. I'm good for insurance. I don't even need my regular insurance. Fuck that. I'm done. I've got my shit. What are the odds of a fire going on upstairs? Talking to the guy, they come around, they check everything out. I've been airing out the fucking couch. I've got a pull-out couch there. First time I've ever even pulled it out. Right? Drying it all day. Windows are open. My life is shitty. Had to get the rugs out. It's just been chaos all day. Talking to the guy, and he tells me, I'm talking to a different guy about the different floors and stuff like that. Then he tells me it turns out that it wasn't upstairs. That was it was the floor above it. They started the fire. They left an iron, like an industrial press iron on. Because I guess they work, it's like the garment district, so they make clothing. And they left it on, and it caused a fire. And then that caused the water to run down the two things. Right. So, and Asians. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I knew it. I knew it wasn't a black person starting a fire. I just knew it. I don't want to be the guy to tell you this, but sometimes you're right. That has Asian written all over. That is Chinese. That's almost like a cultural thing. I don't know if it's New Year's and some fireworks went off. It was some sort of, they were celebrating the freedom of Hong Kong or whatever. I don't know what it was, but it was some sort of, and you know those dragon costumes go up like, so that was, that's, who knows what's going on. The guy downstairs at the door told me, he was telling me, there's a different guy at the door, he's telling me all this, and he was telling me last night that like the fire brigade was here, some guy came running in, he tells me some guy comes running in, and they're like, it's like, there's a lot of smoke, you might be able to get your stuff with the fire. And then the guy goes, my family's up there. And they're like, what? Apparently, I don't know what type of fucking sweatshop they have going on in this building. But I think what happens is you're not allowed to legally live in these buildings because it's an office building in New York. But what they're doing is they get together with like a big sewing machine, and then y'all just like fucking... They just put on the iron and fall asleep, and next thing you know, they're smoked out of their brain. But it was a pain in the ass. It was a real, got nothing done today. The day sucked. But it's one of those situations where, despite it being a horrible day, had the potential for my life being ruined. Was so high that I've kind of felt good all day. It's like, oh, this could be so much worse. This could be so much worse. If the sprinklers went off in this room, forget it. I don't know what. I honestly.
Game over.
Suicide bit, dude. Suicide bit. Collie's doing a suicide bit right now. I'm telling you. There would have been a lot of girls getting fucking asked out to a very expensive restaurant. Although then you would have had to book the table, because it's only funny if they sit on the table and wait until the candle goes out. And then they did go online, and it turns out I put a bullet in my fucking brain. Or I just drowned myself in the fucking... I grabbed some of the electrical equipment and just dived underneath the water. But there you go. So maybe I should get insurance. Like everyone's hit... and I just posted the videos or whatever of the cleanup and all that stuff on Instagram today. And everyone was just like... The amount of comments I had, you need insurance, dude. Renter's insurance? Get renter's insurance. And it's like, go fuck off. What type of fucking humans are you? Like, it's like posting something like going, I'm starving. It's like, and then they go, oh, you should eat. You go, yeah, I fucking know I should fucking eat. You piece of shit. One of the funniest ones was because Are You Garbage, AYG, they're in the same building. Someone said, Aunt 30 fell asleep with a cig in her mouth. Oh, yeah. That was a pretty funny one. So thank you all for your concerns. Follow me on Instagram at Colum Tyrrell if you want to have more insides as to, I don't know, the workings of the studio. Sorry to interrupt the show. Just reminding you guys that if you are not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, please consider doing it. If you're listening on audio, head over to YouTube/Colum Tyrrell, hit subscribe. You'll be able to see all of the episodes. And if you're watching right now on YouTube, just hit it. It costs you nothing. It's absolutely free, and it really helps grow what we're doing right now. So if you could do that right now, that would be really great. I appreciate it. Back to the show. All right, I saw this. A study came out, and I saw it originally posted on as a CNN CNBC? CNBC. That's it. I don't follow any of the news channels. I'm not even sure which ones are which. I do know there's Fox News. I know there's CNN, and then CNBC is very similar to CNN. Correct?
Yeah.
As far as I know. And this story was posted on CNBC, which is again some liberal horseshit. And the study came out that Fox News viewers, although it doesn't say Fox News, it says Fox viewers are less likely to believe lies after being paid to watch CNN for 30 days, study shows. A groundbreaking new study paid viewers of the Fox News network, FNN, they never say FNN, no? To watch CNN for 30 days. What they found is that the viewers ultimately became more skeptical and less likely to buy into fake news. The early impacts after just 3 days show that the viewers were already starting to change. We can cure you, old people. It is bizarre. If you have any 24-hour news thing on at any time, you are a spastic. They're gone. I'd rather you're better off watching Friends on loop. Friends and The Office. Just put on MTV and then what? And then what's that show they always show? With that little blonde kid with the long hair, Rebooked or something. MTV is always that guy. Do you know what I'm talking about? No. Johnny, I wish you were American. There's a show on MTV. And it's the dumbest show ever where like comedians sit around and they watch videos and some guy's been hosting it for 20 years. It's called Rebuttal or something.
TRL?
No, you fucking... You made me look a fool, Johnny. You're always doing this. I'm going to give you a little one of these. Say, help me get out of trouble here. If you guys know what the answer is, leave it in a comment below. So the studies came out. But there's a certain thing. Did you know that happy people are more likely to fall for scams? Studies came out before. And again, who knows what a study is? Like the word study is just there's no real facts here. Sometimes you read these surveys and stuff like that. It's like coffee proven to help erectile dysfunction, and then by the end of it, it was like it was tested with between 5 people, and it was paid for by Nestle.
Right.
It was paid for by Starbucks. Yeah. The Starbucks fucking review. So it's the same with this. I'd be very shocked to find out if Fox was paying for this. Maybe, just maybe, CNN has decided that this is the answer. Because, by the way, and I don't want to be that guy to be like the left and the right are the same, but they are pretty much the same. CNN is full of horseshit. Fox News is full of horseshit. I would imagine if you were watching CNN all the time and then you started watching Fox News, you'd probably get hard again for the first time in many years. That would probably cure erectile dysfunction. That would be a funny rebuttal from if Rupert Murdoch was like, all right, fuck this CNN. We're going to do our own study. And then it was like, new study shows that CNN viewers are less likely to have erectile dysfunction, having been paid to watch Fox for 2 days. This woman's pussy is wetter than ever after watching Fox News. Tucker Carlson got this bitch wet for the first time in many years. Yeah, but they're both liars. The idea that Fox is the only one lying is crazy. The idea that CNN isn't lying is crazy. At least with Fox News, I think there's a general more understanding that Fox News is lying, right? I think the more people know that, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I think, especially like during the Iraq War, they saying all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, Johnny. Absolutely, Johnny. Good man. The glove star, ladies and gentlemen. My interpretation would be that more people feel Fox News lies, but then the idea is these goody two-shoes, and it's the same with the Republicans. I feel have this reputation of being these like evil, we don't care about anyone else people. And then meanwhile the Democrats are just as worse. But the difference is, it's the difference between like a pedophile priest, right? Who's just like, pedophile priest. He's all tits and ass. He's walking around. He's waving. He's telling you about God. Come on in here. Tell me your sins. Take off your pants. Open your mouth. May Jesus have mercy on your soul. Give me 5 Hail Fathers and a little lick of your butthole there. So but the priests are like that. That's kind of CNN. Whereas Fox News is more like just, some guy in a woolly sweater and some oversized glasses, and he's bald and he has a comb over and he drives a van. They're both pedos, but like one of them is very much lying about it, and the other one's he has bad acne, even though he's 45 years old. He has those scars, those Ray Liotta scars on his face, Yeah, his face has all these dints in it, like Lizzo's ass from the cellulite. That's what I imagine he has. He has a plastic bag that he walks around with. This is what I imagined when I compared the other two. Meanwhile, I'm in the middle and I'm right. So yeah, this study came out. It's hard to imagine how it does help, because we do know for a fact that CNN lies about all of their shit too. If CNN aren't in the pocket of Big Pharma, I don't know who the fuck is. Especially when there's clips to this day coming out all the time. And they're getting owned on Twitter when they were like, the vaccine was always supposed to do this, that, and the other. And then you watch back these clips and it's literally Fauci going, if you get the vaccine, you will never get sick again of anything. Get the vaccine now. And then there's like, fine print. This may or may not work. This may not do anything to the things we're talking about. Listen, I'm lucky that we didn't become none of us were the vaccine people that got the clots and got their legs removed, man. That would have been a real bummer. Because I would have hated that too, because I didn't want to get it. I just got it because I needed the job and my chick was getting it, and it seemed like convenient to just be like, I honestly was under the impression that I couldn't get COVID from it. And at the time, COVID hit me pretty hard financially. I was working the truck driving and I was able to work every day. So I was able to get myself out of debt. So I was like, if I get COVID, I can't work for 2 weeks. Right. So I might as well get this fucking vaccine off some Jew. That's like not like a joke. I went to a curly-headed Jew. I went to like a proper turbo Jew. Turns out they have real jobs. I did not know that. Did you know that? Did you know that turbo Jews have jobs? I always thought their life was just, they're always scurrying around. Most people won't know this, right? But there's Hasidic Jews in New York and they have entire neighborhoods. And they dress silly. Whenever they set up their culture in like the 1800s, they've said, you know what we're wearing right now? That's all we're doing. We're not to keep changing fashion. This is crazy. So that's why they all dress kind of like Neo from The Matrix. They have kind of long things. They've got stupid caps, and sometimes they have that furry fucking Russian thing, and they have their hair curls down weird. And they're really ugly, and it's just sorry for having eyes. And yeah, but I'm usually landed, but they're always scurrying around one by one, because I drive through all these parts down in Bushwick, Williamsburg, and all that stuff. They're always in a hurry. These Hasidic Jews scurrying. I've never seen a scurry more than a Jew. One by one. Never in pairs. It's just a guy and he has a phone. He has an old school flip phone and he's just scurrying away. Turns out they're doctors. Anyway, I went to this place and the guy was like, oh, and gave me the jab. He was like, I promise you it works. And then I was like, yeah, no, did nothing. Because I got it. Missed 2 weeks of work after all that. But my hemorrhoids cleared up. So hopefully that's it. Did you ever get it?
Yeah, I got the vaccine.
You better have. You're not legally allowed in this room right now
exactly.
without it. Oh, would you be? I wonder now. Anymore?
Yeah, I think it was just like a window.
It was just for a while.
Yeah.
Good for them for holding off on their opinions. Because people are just like, I'm just not going to get it. And then eventually it was, whatever. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad we got to tackle cancel culture and COVID vaccines in this episode, because we recorded this in January 2021. That's good. This is a timeless episode. And one thing I know for sure is this time next year, the episode, same topics, same shit. All right. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you very much. We'll catch you again next week. Good luck.